Good morning. It's about 8:45 on July 20th, the first day of the reading rush. I tried to stay up till midnight, but my body had other plans. So here I am, and I am about to start The River of No Return by Ridgway. I have done the math, and if I'm trying to get through all 7 books that I set aside for my TBR, I'm going to have to average 350 pages a day. So I'm going to go get some coffee, and I'm going to break into this thing because I have to read all the way to that bookmark. Might as well just finish it, you know? Anyway, let's see how this goes. I made tea. So let's chat. I'm about 100 pages into The River of No Return by Ridgway. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm kind of annoyed with myself for not having picked it up sooner. I also found out, just because apparently I was not observant before, but this is a signed copy. How fun is that? I think I may take a break from this soon and switch to Lock and Key, Welcome to Lovecraft. I finished watching the show 2 nights ago, and I'm really curious to see what's changed. Just off the bat, before I even picked this up to reread it, the show felt very light, and I feel like this was like actual, like almost Lovecraftian type horror. And the show felt just kind of like a YA horror sort of thing. It was enjoyable, but I feel like it was toned down quite a bit. So let's see if this is going to be like too jarring. But I think I'm going to try to get this one done today. It's too late in the day for me to sit outside, so I think I'm going to make Amulet my sitting outside book. But this one I can get through pretty quickly and mark that off my list and get a couple challenges finished. Yay! So it is now 11 o'clock. I've been reading all day. I finished Lock and Key Volume 1. I have a lot of thoughts. I will say that pretty much every trigger warning known to man is needed for that particular graphic novel series, and I was right. It's a lot darker than the TV show adaptation. It's a lot darker than I remember, and I remember it being pretty dark. So that was a ride. I got to page 200 in River of No Return. I'm absolutely adoring it. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. I have my disability hearing in the middle of the day, so that's definitely going to cut into reading, which is fine. But I think in the morning, depending on how tired I am, I may go ahead and try to knock out Amulet and just read that outside before it gets too hot. So it is 9 p.m. and I haven't really done any check-ins today because I had my disability hearing round 1, and while I think it went okay, it just was hard for me to calm down enough to read before it happened, and then afterwards I needed like some recovery time. So I don't think picked anything up until like 3 p.m. but I managed to go sit outside and I read Amulets. I read the whole thing, so that is marked off my list, and I read a book outside, so completed 2 challenges with this one. Other than that, I really hardly read at all today. I think I got 2 more chapters into The River of No Return. Yes, yeah, I'm on page 210 now, and I think I ended at 200 or maybe 190 something and rounded up. But I'm really loving this. It's still making me really happy. I think it's becoming like one of my favorite books. Just to kind of switch it up a bit though, I think tonight I'm gonna start reading Station 11 and see how I like it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to hang out in our office area to not disturb my wife because I think she's trying to go to bed. And you know what? Let me just show you some sleeping cats. It might make you feel nice. Hi, buddy. You gonna stay in here while I read? This is Atlas. And Luffy. Hi, buddy. Hi. Ooh, good scritches. Good scritches, yes. So it is 9:30 on Wednesday night. It has been a full 24 hours since I checked in. Today I've been dealing with this headache that just would not quit. So I still managed to get some reading done. I got another 100 pages into River of No Return, and it is still excellent. There seems to be a lot more intrigue happening now, which is super exciting. I also managed to get about 100 pages into Station 11, and I started it last night before I went to bed, which I thought was a mistake because the beginning portion of it is so similar to what is currently going on. Yeah, so I'm just gonna sit here, continue reading. Probably gonna make myself a cup of tea right now. I am gonna do something caffeinated. I used up so much energy yesterday, and I'll get into this in another video because I do think it would be helpful to talk about the process of applying for disability and all the hoops you have to jump through and everything else. And I don't even know if I've gotten it at this point. I still have to wait for the judge's decision, which will take could be a couple more months. So I am going to go into that further, but just to give you an idea, I have been waiting on this hearing for 2 years. So it was a big moment yesterday where I was able to just finally let it go. And at this point, it's fully out of my hands. There's nothing more I can do to help me along or to hurt the process. So I can kind of relax a bit for a while. So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to relax. Hopefully I will be able to check in more tomorrow because I am having really good luck with my books. Nothing so far I feel like is going to be below 4 stars. So yay for me. And then once the reading rush is over, I can finally start playing Paper Mario. Good morning. So all the clips that preceded this one are from yesterday. Today is today's Friday. So only a few more days left of the readathon. I almost finished River of No Return, so I have 30 pages left. So I'm gonna read that over my morning coffee and then pick Station 11 back up. Okay, 30 pages, a cup of coffee, and a trip to the mailbox later. I am finished with The River of No Return. I have so many feelings about this because the book itself was so good. It was so well written. The characters were great. The plot was interesting. The drama was at the right level. The love story was really sweet. My issue, though, is that the book leaves off with so many loose ends and clearly set up for a sequel. The book is so good that I'm still going to rate it 5 stars, but I have seen no sign of a sequel. I feel like the author originally was going to do one. I don't know if she still plans to do one. She published a novella that's like a prequel story, and that was published the year after The River of No Return was published, and that one's called The Time Tutor, and it goes over like the kind of origins of one of the major characters in The River of No Return. So that sounds interesting in its own right, but I really just want more of this. I want to see this play out. I want to see how they're gonna handle this. I want to see more time travel. Like I just want more. And it's been 7 years since this book was published, so I don't think it's coming anytime soon. I guess it might still come, but like I don't know. So I think I just have to resign myself to just, this is it. I'm gonna try to contain my emotions for the rest of the day about this particular book and move on to Station 11. I'm gonna get back to that, see how far I can get into it. I'm gonna try not to pick up Paper Mario today. We'll see how strong I am with that one. Good morning. It is about 9:30 on Saturday morning. Just got out of the shower, so I'm clearly just looking my best. I filmed like a end of the day wrap up last night before I went to sleep at like midnight, but it didn't save on my phone because my storage was full. Go figure. But I finished Station 11. It was excellent. So I'm going to go get some coffee, and then I'm going to start Women of the Silk and see how far I can get in that today. If I need a break from kind of like that literary fiction vibe, I'm gonna sprinkle in some Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered, and maybe play just a little bit of Paper Mario, just the tiniest bit. It's really fun and it makes me happy. So I'm not gonna do this reading rush thing to the point where I'm unhappy, because that's not, it's not healthy and it's not the point of it. So I'm going to just read as much as I feel like reading and do something else if I feel like doing something else. Hello, it is Sunday, so it's the final day of the reading rush, and I am not excited about what I'm reading. I'm currently 100 pages in to Women of the Silk. I really wanted to love this. I love the hook for it. I love the setting is really interesting. I love like in theory this should be a book that I'm in love with, but it's not, and I'm hoping that if I read a bit more of it I will like it more. But currently Gail Tsukiyama is doing a wonderful job of telling me how people are feeling, telling me what's going on, telling me about these deep inner conflicts, but at no point am I just being shown these things, which is a writing device that is never super successful to me. It makes for a nice story, an interesting story, but it's not really making me feel any connection with the characters. Hello, it's me, your tired dad. There is an insane glare in my glasses, but if I take them off I can't see. Maybe? Hi, it's me, your tired Shih Tzu. I was just about to post my vlog footage and then I realized I never actually filmed a wrap-up section, so might as well go ahead and do that. So this week has been long. I've read so much. I ended up reading 1,260 pages over the course of the week, and that is over 4 books. 2 of those books were graphic novels, but they still count. And I managed to finish all of the reading challenges with those 4 books. If you go back and watch my TBR, you can see how each book fit multiple challenges, but I don't really want to go into all specifics about the reading rush right now, because this year's reading rush in particular seemed to be really poorly handled, and I don't think I'm going to participate again next year, because there are a lot of different readathons out there that are more inclusive, more diverse, and I want to support those over this one. I was really excited to participate in the reading rush because I had been watching it occur for so many years, and I was excited to be part of it, but you know, I think it's lost a little bit of its glisten. So I'm going to move forward, and I'm still posting this vlog, obviously, because I worked really hard on it, and I also said I was going to. So this is me doing that. And also I want to talk about these books. They're really good. So I guess let's just move forward. And even though I read all these books for the reading rush and for all these challenges, let's just like pretend that I just read like a maniac this week because I felt like it, right? That's fine. So starting off, the first book that I finished was Lock and Key, Welcome to Lovecraft, and I picked this up after I finished watching the Netflix show. I had read the whole graphic novel series previously, but I hadn't read it in years. So I thought it would be fun to watch the show and then see how it compares. And I gotta say, the show is so soft compared to this. I do appreciate a couple of the choices that the show made versus what the graphic novel did. I think I mentioned in my vlog earlier that this graphic novel definitely requires a lot of trigger warnings, so it's upsetting. I think that I blocked out quite a bit of kind of the darkest parts of Lock and Key since reading it the first time. I still very much enjoy it because I'm a big fan of horror, and it is definitely, I recommend it to people who can handle those kind of issues being presented in fiction, and also are really big fans of horror and don't mind too much gore, because there is a lot of gore in these books. So just a heads up on that one. Next, oh, and I rated it 5 stars. So next I read Amulet and for volume 1, The Stonekeeper. It was really fun. It was really good. And basically, if none of the things that I said about Lock and Key sound appealing to you, if you don't really want all those horrible, violent things, you're not into gore, but you are intrigued by the idea of children finding magical objects and then having to go save a parent or defend a parent, and they're also living in an old family ancestral home while they're doing all of this because of a tragedy that happened in their family, just read Amulet, because that's what this is too. It's very similar, except this one doesn't have tons of gore. It's a little bit lighter. I mean, this bunny right here is one of like the main characters. So if that gives you any indication, if you like the idea of mystical objects and mysteries and children being like the main characters and the main heroes, then just read Amulet. It's basically Lock and Key without the gore. I mean, it's not that alike, but it's alike enough where if you're intrigued by this, you'll like this. So that's that. And also the art style in here is much more palatable. Like, it's like all these beautiful pretty colors and just like really, yeah, it's really nice. Whereas with Lock and Key, and let me make sure I don't open up to like a gory page. Oh wow, that's harder than you would expect it to be. Nope. Oh dear. Okay, here's something. Like, it is a lot like grittier. There's a huge glare on this, but it's a lot kind of rougher around the edges, like what you would expect like a horror book to be. So just keep that in mind with both of those. I initially rated this 4 stars during my vlog, but I think I'm gonna bump it up to 5 because it did make me really happy. And I think at this point, even though I've already read these, but I don't really remember what happens, I'm more excited to continue on with Amulet because I feel like it is what I need right now. It's lighter, it's more uplifting. So both get 5 stars though, for different reasons. Next, I read and finished The River of No Return by B. Ridgway. This was my favorite read of the week. Like, it was a lot of fun, and it was just really romantic. Like, even though it wasn't like a super heavy like romance book, the romance that was there was so sweet. And this is one of the very, very few time travel based books that I have read where the time travel felt very real and very believable. And I also love the period that they traveled to. Regency England is interesting to me. And it also kind of confronted a lot of things that people like me, I'll admit it, romanticize about those eras, but that are in fact very troublesome. And so having a character that was born in that era and was transferred forward in time from 1805 to 1810. Sorry, he was from 1810 and he got blasted forward to I think 2003, and then he returned to 1815. And so he is now coming back with all of the knowledge and all of the kind of habits he's picked up as being a modern gentleman and all of that. And so then having to woo a woman from that era and who has never been outside of that era, he has to completely change the way he does it. And he would say something like, oh, well, there's no reason why you can't run the manor, to his sister, and his sister's looking like he's crazy because women can't do that. So I mean, it does confront a lot of those realities, and I think in a really good way without being too preachy about it. And it just was super interesting, and I really wish that there was something about a sequel anywhere. Like, if anyone knows if there's going to be a sequel on this, please put it in the comments. Next up, I read and finished Station 11. I don't have a pretty cover for this because it's on my Kindle, so just imagine. This book I was a little nervous to pick up right now because it centers around a traveling troupe of actors and musicians who are in the post-apocalyptic, post-pandemic world after a pandemic sweeps the entire world, wiping out 99% of the world's population. And so the first few chapters actually took place right in the moments before the breakout and then right afterwards. And then it jumps forward 20 years, so you're 20 years in the future. Everything is post-breakout, post-virus. But throughout the book, you do get important flashbacks to the times before the virus, and also to a few of the characters, the times during like the first year or so of them trying to travel and survive in a world that has no infrastructure any longer. And it was really well done. I very much enjoyed it, and it also made me feel very sad because if this were to happen today, the way COVID-19 is being addressed in the United States, we would die first if this were to happen here. So I really, it just made me sad. It hit really close to home, but I recognize it's an amazing book, and if I didn't read it during the middle of the pandemic, I'd probably like it even more. Or who knows, maybe I like it more now because it hits home. That's possible. But either way, another 5 stars. I really lucked out this week about which books I chose, because I try to only purchase books or put books on my to-read list that are ones that I'm like seriously interested in. So I should like every book that I pick up, but you know, every now and then there's one that advertises itself as one thing but ends up being something completely different. So next, speaking of that, I started Women of the Silk. I only got 100 pages in, and I showed in my vlog of where I got to that 100 pages and how I was kind of feeling about it, so I'm not going to reiterate it too much. I just want to say that I just don't feel like continuing. Knowing me, I'm going to anyway, but I definitely didn't want to continue under the stress of, oh, you have to finish this book because you're in the middle of a readathon. So I'm going to couch this for now, or maybe I'll just keep it by my bed and read a couple chapters here and there, because it is very like peaceful because it is more of a tell don't show book, and it takes place in the 1920s in rural China. So everyone, all the women there are very like reserved and quiet. Well, at least all the characters here. The ones who aren't are only non-reserved in their heads. So it's a very just kind of calming book. Of course, I'm pretty sure there is a protest or a strike that happens at some point about the silk factory, so I haven't gotten to that yet, so it might pick up then. So that is why I'm kind of holding out hope, because currently it is not impressing me that much, but I don't think I've hit the main conflict yet, so I'm at least gonna give it until then. And it's not that long of a book. Like, I can probably finish it in a couple days at my normal reading pace. So that is that. So those are the books that I read this week. I did feel reinvigorated by doing this readathon. I'm a little disappointed that it kind of devolved into what it did, but I have been in a bit of a reading slump, and this has been great. And I'm not ashamed to admit the fact that I have read more this week than I have in the first 6 months of the year, because I have been in such like a rut. I've been in very low moods, high anxiety, depression's really like hitting me. So it was really nice to kind of get back to the things I love and have it go so well. I hope that you enjoyed this reading rush vlog. I'm sorry it's so long. I thought this little wrap up at the end would be a lot shorter, but turns out I had a lot to say. So just let me know if there's anything you want to see next. I do have some ideas coming up, so hopefully I can get those out soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.